there, and welcome back to Don't Open That Door. Come along with our triumvirate of terror as we descend into darkness, hurtle into horror, and plunge into peril. If you've ever wanted an eldritch god to just totally ruin your game of mini-golf, you're in the right place. I'm Justin. My golf score is like my credit score.
That's bad no matter how it goes, frankly. I'm Nico, and I'm here with a hot take. Golf is bad. It's a waste of resources and land, and most of all, water.
Well, I'm Dan, and I live in a concrete hellscape.
And we're here today to review Greener Grass Awaits. This was created by yatoimtop, and without further ado, Nico, how's this game start?
So, you play as an individual who breaks into a closed golf course at sunset. How romantic. At first, you go about your way completing the golf course as normal. Things take a turn, however, when dead employees of the golf course start showing up, and the character is pursued by demon-like employees who try and kill the character. After finishing the standard 12 holes, the character enters the main building and is transported to another world.
Well, when I get transported to another world, I typically call Dan to see what I should do. So Dan, what happens next?
And I'm always surprised that call actually goes through.
Roaming charges like crazy.
Yeah, for real. So here, the game changes somewhat, and the character uses his golf clubs to put orbs of light into demonic trees in a real spooky forest, and begins to kill an unknown god. At first, the god is tickled and annoyed a little bit, but then, as if he knows the main character, remarks that he will not let him have this world, and he will take his dinner from him. The main character uses the same orbs of light to defeat the evil god and returns to his world where he drives away. The end.
When he said I will not let you have your dinner, I just immediately thought, oh god, is he gonna like whip his dick out and start pissing on my food like in fucking
You
Troll
can't
2?
piss on hospitality.
It's like, oh no, is that where this game is going?
Yeah, what if?
Not what I signed up for.
In a turn of events, let's talk about the way this game looks. So Dan, how does this game look?
No dicks, thankfully.
No dicks. No dicks. Though some of the courses were shaped oddly phallical.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought this game looked fine. I don't quite know how to say this. I mean, I was going to say it looks Minecrafty, but it's not as blocky as Minecraft.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not like high res or anything like that. It is an indie game, and I don't think the game needs to be super high res and super graphic or anything like that. So I thought the graphics looked pretty good for what it is. And I enjoyed near the second chunk of the game, the latter half, when you're kind of running through the forest and you have like the demonic faces kind of coming at you and shit. Pause. I thought those were pretty cool.
Nico, what'd you think about the looks of this one?
I'm a big fan of the looks, and I also in particular like when those faces are coming at you, pause, and they low-key make it easier to see.
Yeah.
I don't know if either of you had this experience, but like I kind of just let it sit for a second when you're out of the light, and that's when the sort of like demons start popping up and your screen looks weird. But like I actually found it easier to navigate when I was in the middle of that chopped and screwed demonic hellscape. But I'm a big fan of just the overall aesthetic that this game is pitching. It's like 80s sort of almost like blunted pastels, really like darkened and made to look like an almost arcade machine at times, followed by what is truly very simple architecture and geometry for the actual level design. But I think it worked.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking of coming at you, somebody who knows a lot about that, Justin,
Pause.
what do you think?
Critical hit!
Yeah, okay, I'll take that one. I agree with a lot of what you two said. My only other thing that I wish to add is sometimes the game was really dark.
Yeah.
And that fucked with the draw distance a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
There were times where I couldn't even see like the flag to where I'm supposed to be hitting the ball, which as we get into the gameplay section, I will tell you that's a pretty big issue. Also, shout outs to when it turned red and dark, so I just can't see shit. Shout outs for that one.
Yeah, fuck you in particular, I guess.
Yeah, indeed.
To be clear, if you're not like hip to the lore that's been established over these 200 plus episodes, Justin is partially colorblind. Do you care to give any more details as to the specificity, Justin?
Yeah, I'm partially colorblind. So back to the audio.
Incredible.
I would say that like I was a big fan of the audio. Actually, I liked the sound of the music. I think the putt sounds great when you hit the balls, pause. And I also think that the monsters are good enough. The demon god is very clearly, I would be willing to bet it's yatoimtop.
Oh, most certainly.
Just
It's
talking
be, right?
through some kind of filter or something like that. Reminiscent of the three of us in our youths experimenting with audio.
Hey, remember what you want?
Dan,
I'm just chilling at the spot.
Dan, what you think?
I thought the soundtrack was a banger. The soundtrack was so good. It was really cool, spooky, sort of ethereal, mood setting kind of music. And the final fight and everything was really cool as well. So I'm a big fan of the soundtrack. And then why do I keep wanting to say onomatopoeia? The Foley. It sounded pretty good. I enjoyed it when there was also a lack of soundtrack and all you hear is the Foley. You know, you're stepping through, walking through the course and everything. I thought was pretty cool. And hearing the demonic employee things getting closer to you was kind of creepy as well.
Nico, where's the sound for you?
So I will mention something that I'm surprised neither of you have mentioned yet. There are multiple jump scares in this, which I feel needs to be addressed. What did y'all think of the jump scares?
I actually thought the changeover into different courses was almost like a jump scare each time because I kind of wasn't expecting it, because sometimes when you change courses, it'll go to like the next area. So each area might have 2, 3, 4 different courses in it.
Yeah.
But it's not super like clear to you that you're going to a new area. So you're just walking and then all of a sudden it's like, boom. And like, that was like a kind of a jump scare to me each time.
Yeah, I'm thinking of those. In particular, the first time that I waded into the water, I got a little fucked up when it said, "This body will not swim," or whatever the fuck it was, like on some Dark Souls shit.
Oh, I didn't even do that.
Yeah, to go and try and retrieve the ball.
Oh.
Wait, you walked into water?
Like, I purposely knocked it into the water, and then I just wanted to see what happened,
bruh.
and there was this
Nah.
Dark Souls-ass ending screen. This body will not swim or enter water. I can't remember what it was. It was one of those two, but, like, the ones in particular that I'm thinking of are just when suddenly the fucking park employees or whatever the hell just zoom in on you. Those scared the shit out of me, man.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously, like, that's not as satisfying as if, like, it was something, like, perhaps truly scary, which I think there are some okay scares in this game, but, like, the moments that got my heart racing were perhaps, unfortunately, still more just results of the jump scares, just, like, sudden massive increase in audio as opposed to, like, any vibes that were set. I don't know about y'all, though.
Let's go ahead now and take it to the gameplay. Dan, what does this game center around? What's it like playing this game?
It's like playing golf. You pick up your bag, you put your bag down, you choose a driver or a putter?
Yeah.
Putter, yeah. Or a putter. And then you drive or putt the ball. I thought it was...
Pause?
Yeah, I guess it's pause already. I thought it was interesting mechanics. I have some issues with some of the gameplay and controls and things. I understand why it was done, but like I kind of don't like having to carry around your bag and kind of go back and retrieve it sometimes or go forward or something.
Yeah.
I understand that's to add an extra challenge to kind of get around these zombie-like things that are encroaching upon you, because as you play it, after you get past hole 5, 6, somewhere around there, a demonic employee will start to follow you. And at first it starts far away and then gets closer and closer. So whenever you look at it, it'll stop. Whenever you're not looking, it gets closer. But if you look at it for too long, then it also gets closer. So a lot of the game, or the second half of the game or so, is when you're still playing on the actual normal golf course. You kind of have to keep doing this look back at these guys that are getting closer and closer to you. I found that a little frustrating. It was really part of it was really cool, but personally, I'm not a PC gamer, so WASD controls are fine. Like I'm okay at them, but I'm not particularly like deft at them. And I was watching a guy on YouTube play it, and like, dude, he was just like way better than I was. And I just like I could only like move or look. I couldn't do both at the same. I'm not good enough to do that. So it made the game really fucking hard. And full disclosure, I actually turned on the slow enemies mod or whatever.
So
and
did
then
I.
later on, I actually turned off enemies altogether because it was just getting too fucking hard.
So did I.
So to piggyback off what you said, Dan, I'm also not a PC gamer in terms of like WASD. I use my control pad a lot. I know, I'm a bad person.
Weakling.
But I will say, first and foremost, the fuckers don't tell you you can fucking sprint! Okay, so now...
Bro, that wasn't like the first thing you tried?
No. I don't want to hear that.
Are you telling me you were like walking the entire time up until that point, bro? These long ass courses?
Nico.
Justin.
I was in the other fucking world before I called Dan and he told me I could sprint.
You stupid motherfucker!
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, Justin!
No,
All of your failure is your own design.
No, it's actually not. Because let me tell you why. The game, when it starts, gives you a fucking, like, instruction manual.
Uh-huh.
Nowhere on there is there a fucking sprint. Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you tell me you can run?
Like, shift is running, like, everything.
All right. And bird shit everywhere, but that doesn't mean I want it on my head.
Well, that's a you problem.
I mean, hey, people wear hats for reasons, I guess.
Like, you don't know my fucking fury.
I think I have an idea.
When I found out that you can run in this goddamn forsaken pack of shit where I'm walking
Oh my god.
and you can run.
Bless your heart.
Also, I wasn't the biggest fan of having to constantly like look back at the creatures because for me it was a little annoying because again, I'm not super like adept at WSD and mouse, and when I'm trying to like putt a shot, the monster's behind me, so I look, I'm trying to hit, and sometimes the angles of the ball and the physics just did not line up with what I thought they should be. Because quick intercession here, we play a lot of golf with your friends, and I'm super used to that way of playing it, and I don't know. This wasn't the greatest.
It's like the club has tank controls, if that makes any sense. Like, the way you orient the club in space combined with, like, the initially, I would say, pretty awkward camera makes for a confusing learning curve.
Yeah, and for the record, if there's something in this game that tells you to sprint, I will take my L, but I didn't see it. And secondly, I just generally, as you two did, I had to turn off enemies at times because, nah, dog, I was just mad. I was so mad. And the whole time I was like, man, if I could use a control stick, I'd shove it up your ass. But I'll use a joypad, joystick, square box, anything, bruh. But nevertheless, that aside, it's Nico's time. What'd you think of the gameplay and controls?
I found the gameplay frustrating, I'm not gonna lie. Like, the core conceit is... let me give my fucking credo, all right? Let me give you my credentials, show you my pedigree, if you will. I fucking platinum Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. I platinum Lies of P. I beat the final boss of the Elden Ring DLC. I almost spoiled it. Like, on try 5. I am not a fucking, like, newbie fucking, oh, maybe it's supposed to give it a video game, wonder how he's gonna do it. Like, no, y'all, this shit is hard, and the mechanics do not make it any easier. I swear, the amount of precision that you could normally get is so much more clinical when you don't have some wailing demonic motherfucker running at you from, like, 30 meters away, you will lose all your composure and miss the shot fucking wildly. Have to do this over, and over. And also, to give my credentials for a second, I am rather first in keyboard and mouse. But even I found it just kind of tiresome, if I'm honest, to have to like very consciously think like, okay, I'm going to take 2 steps, then look back. I'm going to take 2 steps and look back. I'm going to take 2 steps, look back, like wildly just like tossing my mouse across my desk with increased sensitivity so I can do those like knee-jerk kind of turns. But even with that like in my toolkit, it is still a very clunky experience, which I was not a fan of.
Yeah, and I will say, like, I will never, I like Nico, I love the Souls games. I like hard games in general. But I will say that for me, I'm not going to complain about how difficult a game is. But I would complain if I felt like the controls weren't straight. And I myself, I'm not, like I said, I'm not a mouse and keyboard guy. So I'm not even going to hold that against this game. But just generally, the whole, like, having to check back. I mean, the core components I didn't necessarily vibe with. Also, I don't know if this happened to you guys. It happened to me a lot. You walk up to the ball and you mash E to go into shoot mode.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when you hit the ball, you will automatically come out of shoot mode.
Hmm.
Other times you have to mash E to take yourself out of shoot mode.
Mm-hmm.
And like that to me was really frustrating because sometimes I'd like hit the ball and then I'm frozen until I mash E to come out of shoot mode, but there's zombies behind me. And I'm just like, bruh,
Yeah,
like,
it's clunky.
yeah, you're not making this any easier for me here.
Mm-hmm.
And also, last thing is the enemies do sometimes still move even when you're looking at them. Like, I've seen it happen a bunch of times. So, Nico, how did Justin do this if Justin never sprinted?
Please go on. I am genuinely curious.
I would kite motherfuckers across the whole pitch.
Oh, yeah.
And then move back because that was the only thing I could do. And let me just say, first off, sprinting would have made that much easier.
Yeah.
But secondly, the enemies rubber band with their speed, and they'll make it so they're only ever like a certain distance away from you.
Yeah.
Like their speed is variable depending on how far away from you they are. And that, while I understand it, it's a little frustrating. I felt the same way, and this is probably a compliment, about Mr. X in Resident Evil 2. Because that motherfucker would just show up whenever he felt like it, and that's what I felt like the zombies did too.
Yeah.
But either way, I'm going to stop bragging on it because I sound very angry. I'm not actually as angry as I sound. I'm fresh. Maybe, let me see, it's, 2 hours basically since Dan told me I could sprint, so I'm still hot about it. Let's go ahead now and talk about the horror elements in this game. Nico talked a little bit about it. So Dan, I want to go to you first. How'd you like the horror in this game and how would you describe it?
I actually really liked how they built the horror in this. It was really cool. Because at first, you're just playing golf by yourself. And I mean, something's up, something's gonna happen and whatever. I mean, well, obviously you downloaded a horror golf game. But it starts slow, whole like 4 or 5 or something is when you start to see bad things happening. And then like dude starts to follow you at hole, I don't know, it's 6 or 7. But then the next hole, I don't think they do at all.
Right.
And
No.
then the next hole, like you get a little weirdness again. And I just really like that build. And it did get me kind of like tense, like going into like hole 10 when there's like 2 of them. I think that's the one where there's 2 of them following you. That's also the one where I turned off enemies and just kept it moving. But I was like, it did get me kind of tense. And the second part of the game, when you're in the other world, I thought was kind of cool too. I really liked seeing all the demonic things and different, even though they're not chasing you, at least not in the same way as the previous section.
They're like dancing at you.
Yeah, and it's cool to it was just really cool. And I actually quite enjoyed how the horror intention was built.
Echoed. Well done, yatoimtop. I thought the horror build-up in this was great. I thought it was far better than other efforts I've seen in like some even AAA
Agreed.
type things. So I gotta give mad credit to the developer, creator, producer, however you want to call it, because I thought the horror was mad succinct. Even more so when we get to the next part.
It was
But
fit.
Nico,
It was mad fit.
it was fit. It had a fitness to it. Nico, go on.
Fact of 50, bruv. I'm a big fan of the horror as well, I'm not gonna lie. Like, my frustrations earlier that I mentioned, I want to sort of, like, couch that for a second. This is a game that you could potentially, if you are, like, either more skilled than, well, definitely more skilled than us, you could finish this in probably an hour, and some people have done it in less. I, myself, clocked in at a little, like, shortly after 2 hours. Some of that was through like initial experimentation and like the learning curve of everything, and some of that was just by the game being fucking hard as hell. But I do think that the overall sort of like line graph of how the horror builds on top itself is very well done. In particular, I think Hole 4 just tickled my soul because there's the line there at the pause. Uh, there's the line at the sign to the hole where it says like, for safety purposes, please do not putt your ball over the cliff. And then so that's immediately what I fucking did. And then you walk over there and there's a fucking dead guy there and you're like, oh shit, did I do that? And combining that with some of the just very matter-of-fact dialogue, air quotes, dialogue choices that you can give when you're confronted by the employees. It's like, hey, you know, the golf course is closed. And you can be like, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So I liked it.
Now I want to talk about the Switch. And speaking of Switch, you're going to hear a switch in my tone and demeanor. So like Dan said in the synopsis, you kind of, when you enter the building, you go to another world and you're still golfing, but now you're golfing in another world. But this ain't no isekai. You ain't stacking no bitches. You got no harem. Instead, you got a ball of light, and that shit is your fucking guiding light.
Literally.
Because without that, you start seeing these weird images and these things pop up. It's basically a different game almost.
Kind of.
And I fucking loved it. I liked that.
That. More of that.
And also, like, I liked that I could fight the enemies.
But you can fight the enemies?
Yeah, the balls kill them.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Pause.
Yeah, didn't you ever get the message? The balls rend flesh.
Oh,
Yeah, you could smack them with that shit and it fucks their shit up.
I didn't even realize that. Damn.
Fuck
okay.
yeah.
Totally missed that.
Fuck yeah. And I was like, yo, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. It's about time.
She light on my ball till I rend flesh.
Scoop.
Michael Knight.
And after that, I had me a Jill sandwich. There we go. We got it all, guys. We got it all right here. But no, I really liked what it was after the Switch, the tone, the boss, and everything. I loved it. Dan?
Yeah, agreed. I didn't know you could kill motherfuckers with that, but that's pretty cool. I really did enjoy the Switch. It was a cool like breath of fresh air too, because as you're going through like we've said multiple times, the game is fucking hard, and like the controls and the gameplay of chasing, or those things chasing you and having to look back and everything. So then to get into a new section where you're not being chased is really cool. Now there are times when when you hit the ball, like Justin said, it's your source of light. So you do have to navigate through darkness, and if you're in the darkness too long, then you get, I don't know, killed by the demons or whatever. So you are still sort of being chased, but it's a very different type of chase. And I think it worked a lot better.
Yeah. Nico, thoughts?
Big time agree, although I will say there was a solid like 10 minutes where I was lost as shit in those woods, y'all. Like, I was so thoroughly, just unequivocally, like, if this was real life, I would have been dead, is what I'm telling you.
Indeed. More on that later.
Oh no.
Now, I want to ask you guys, the end boss, what do you think that entity is? Is it like an eldritch god? What do you think it is?
I think it's the eldritch god called golf.
Mm.
I don't know. I think it's just a golf god. Actually, not even golf, but just eldritch god.
Yeah, I like how it mentions that, it'll make you the last sacrifice it needs. So it's clearly killing people for some reason, maybe to re-enter this world. I don't know. But Nico, what'd you take on it?
Yeah, I'm sure there's some like deeper lore that exists out there in the greener grass awaits cinematic universe, I guess. But I completely forgot what you asked me. I'm so sorry.
It happens
Yeah.
often. So
Yeah.
the end boss.
Oh, and boss,
Thoughts?
right. It reminded me of two things. One, the final boss of Undertale, which the name is escaping me right now. Flowey, I think. And then just kind of like the big ass face that you fight in Star Fox.
Andros?
Mm.
Yeah, Andros, a little bit.
So we're spoiling everything today. So let's go ahead.
Olaf dies in Frozen 2. Let's go.
All right. Now, I want to ask you guys, what do you think we are potentially? Because at first it thinks you're a
Damn,
human.
man, that's
and,
deep as shit.
Well, at first it thinks you're a human, and then all of a
Fuck,
sudden,
man. I mean, you just want to rend my entire existential being. Then let's go, Justin. How much time you got?
because at first the boss just thinks you're like, hey, a regular human. But then it's like, oh, I didn't recognize you. You're in that flesh. And like, I won't let you have this world. Are you also an eldritch being, do you think?
I think you are some sort of like maybe unknowing cultist, but like this dude is so singularly minded. Like even the like walls around the courses to like prevent you from running off like are filled with I love golf. Golf is for me. If I'm not golfing, then I don't want it. If you don't like to golf, then I will just like sprawled everywhere that you can see. So proclivities aside, this dude is fucking on one. I'm not quite sure.
Dan?
I don't know, to be honest. I didn't really think about it until you asked it. Maybe you're some like chosen one and you don't even really know it, but you just really like golf and you're a savant at golf and this is the reason why. I don't know.
And you're fond of casual trespassing.
For me, I think you gotta be some kind of eldritch being or possessed by one at least, because when he says, I won't let you have your dinner, I think that line kind of speaks volumes. And I don't know. I'm interested. But first, I want to talk about the what would you do? And I'll say this. We all like to play mini golf and such. Next time we link up at my spot, I ought to challenge you guys at golf in real life. I'll golf with my friends in real life.
Okay,
Yeah, let's do it.
I mashed up Dan into mini golf already in the past, but he don't want to talk about it.
Hey, that was did we do mini golf? I know we did
Foot golf.
foot golf.
What the fuck is foot golf?
It's when you use a soccer ball.
And you kick some feet.
Indeed. So I want to ask you one question. If you had to pick a sport to challenge an eldritch being, what sport are you best at? What are you challenging an eldritch being in?
Well, now you know we're all musicians who don't play sports. I feel like, I guess I would say baseball.
I feel like you'd almost like, instead of like putting the orbs, you'd like pitch or something like that or hit them or something.
Yeah.
Nico, you got something?
I would either challenge the demon to like a shred off.
That's not a sport.
Absolutely disagree. Are we talking like things that you can compete in,
I mean a
or
sport,
like things
an
that would?
organized sport.
Okay.
Like you said, baseball. That's a sport.
Oh, what's the thing from Calvin and Hobbes?
Calvin ball.
Oh, it is Calvin ball? Okay. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I would do. You just make up your own rules.
Yeah, I think I would have to do Calvin ball because I've gotten truly like no fucking idea. Competitive napping, let's go.
Dude, didn't you used to fence?
Yeah, I did, but like I'm not about to sword fight a god, homie.
Do you do anything else?
I mean, not on
Clearly
a
not.
team. No.
So yeah, I feel like just pick your best. Fencing.
Okay, well then, I guess I'm about to, as you wish, this motherfucker for my life.
Hey, see, there you go.
And if you don't get that reference, I'm sad for you.
See, inconceivable, Nico. But also, I would say for me, it would have to be football/soccer. Like that's my thing. I could play at a pretty decent level. And I mean, plus that way I could team up with a squad. Be like, listen, I need my 11 to play against you, bro.
Oh, true.
Or if you didn't let me take that, I'm like, my specialty was tackling motherfuckers and accurate passes. So
Question for you, Justin.
yeah,
How do you feel about Sunderland being able to tackle such an eldritch being?
oh, of course, we're top of the league, bitch. 4 in a row. When this episode drops, we'll still be top of the league. How about that one? There's a prediction. But yeah, we're getting promoted this season, baby, all the way.
Love to see it.
Can I change my answer?
Oh yeah, absolutely you can.
I would like to change it to Rocket League.
Oh, it is an esport. Esport. You are right about that. Rocket League is an official esport.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you know what, Dan? I think we gotta hit him with the shake and bake, bro. We got that.
Yep.
All right. Fair enough. Nico, you don't play Rocket League, so I think
No.
you should
But
stick to what you do.
the both of you know that player 3 would get an inordinate amount of shots like listed as his instead of Justin's, and he'll be big mad about
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
Yeah, of course.
Clear
of course.
ball.
How many hours have you put into that game, do you think?
A scary amount.
Don't ask. You don't want the answer to
Do you
that.
think it's have you peaked over 1,000 hours, do you think?
I don't think I have, but I'm probably getting pretty close.
Wow.
Well, you got to consider this, right? I have over 500 hours on my Rocket League, right? Now,
I'm
a lot
including
of
all the
that-
time that you two used to live together and play like religiously in there.
I know. That's the thing, is like a lot of that was on my stuff. So between the two of us, I would say we must be getting close. We must be getting up
But
there.
yeah, I mean, I'm over 600, and that's not including the time at your place before I owned the game, which is probably another
Yeah.
200-300.
I would estimate that, yeah, for sure. Well, our sad lives aside, there is no critic review for Greener Grass Awaits. That being said, what do you guys think about it? What would you rate it? 1 to 100. Where are we at?
I am going to give it a 65. And I'm kind of sad that I'm giving it a 65 because I really, really like the horror, the soundtrack, the visuals. I like a ton of it. But the gameplay to me was was frustrating. And, in a video game, gameplay is one of the biggest things, So I feel like if the gameplay was better, even if it wasn't perfect, I would have a much higher score. But for me, it's a 65.
I'm right there with you at a 63. I literally echo exactly what you're saying, that if the core gameplay was a little bit better, I would have loved this exponentially more. Like, yatoimtop's a musician, and you can tell from the sounds in the game. This is very clearly, one person made it, not in a negative way, but man, if that core gameplay was just a touch better. And to be honest, like, don't stop. Like, you get horror, right? So give me something that's not golf. And I think I'd love it. I think I'd love it 1,000,000%. If it's easier to do like
Let's get Iron Chef mixed with horror.
I know, right?
I would play the fuck out of that.
I would too. But Nico, would you rate this game?
I'm going to give it a 68. I really, 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 really love the vibes that this game has. I think they're absolutely immaculate. I think they are just unfortunately let down by somewhat clunky controls. And part of me struggles with this score not being a little bit higher. 1, for the joke. 2, for just like the fact that so much of this, like you two have said, either directly or indirectly, so much of this could be just like absolutely fantastic. And like, it's so close that it's kind of frustrating to me.
Yeah, agreed there. So, Do we recommend this?
I would, particularly because one, you can pay what you want for it, but two, I think given this is an indie joint, I am more inclined to saying like, yeah, you should check it out and support the developer.
I say yes as well because a lot of the issues I have with the gameplay can be overridden by the box that says turn off enemies.
Yeah.
So you can literally progress with no issues through 99% of the game, and then it's just the final boss fight. And if you can't win, you can't win. It's all right. I couldn't win. And then you go on YouTube and you watch the ending. So there you go.
Yeah, I agree. I would recommend it. Despite the frustrations, it's a really cool experience, I think, and a really cool, I don't even want to say attempt because I think it's much more than an attempt. A really cool effort, I guess.
Agreed.
Yeah. And again, like if yatoimtop was to hear one thing or take one thing away, it's not my yelling earlier about Shift. I was just hot about that. But do something else in horror you clearly understand. And to be honest, no golden seal, right, guys?
No.
No.
Nope. All right, then. So that's where we're at.
How do we
want
feel
to know your
about
thoughts.
potentially Diamond in the Rough?
Nah, not for
Okay.
me. So, dear listener, we want to hear your thoughts.
Hold on.
Hit us up.
Hold on. For posterity's sake, what was everyone's totals and our scores?
I don't know. I screenshotted it, and it seems to have gone missing. But I will tell you there were a lot of sad faces on that bitch.
I had one
And-
sad face.
I had 3 sad faces.
I had about 3 or 4 sad faces.
I got a 67.
Total shots?
Yeah.
You did better than me. I was 101, baby.
Damn.
Damn, goddamn. I was not 101, bro.
I did not do well at this game, lads.
No, I got like 6, 6, 5, and then the 4th or 5th one I got par on. You know the one where there was like 3 islands or something, and you had
yeah.
to
Fuck
cross
that
the
one.
bridge?
Yeah.
I hit it straight across in my first go.
I tried
That's the
that.
one where I got the par.
I tried that like 10 times and I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, but you didn't know you could change the elevation
No,
of
I
your
didn't.
shot.
I didn't know you could change
So-
that.
Yeah, that's how you do it, bro. So, all that to say, have you played this game? If not, you should, and then let us know. We're on X and Instagram at DOTD Horror. We're on Facebook under Don't Open That Door. Give us a like, share, a shout out, and talk to us about anything horror related, golf related, soccer related. We're here. We're here, okay? We're here. But sometimes we're not. But till then, dear listener, take care of one another. Mini golf is good for the soul, but bad for the friendship. And as always, dear listener, don't open that.